Welcome to the Stoic Philosophy. This is the space where ancient wisdom meets the raw challenges of modern life. And today, we're going to talk about something silent, something sacred, something so many of us carry, but almost never speak of. Caring for the people who once cared for you. It's one of life's most tender roles, and one of its heaviest burdens. They raised you, fed you, protected you. You were their world. Now the world has shifted. The parent becomes the one who needs help. The strong voice you once followed now trembles with age. The hands that used to hold yours now shake, reaching back. And here you are, navigating aging, illness, memory loss, with a heart full of love and a mind full of confusion. Let's be honest, caregiving is not just about meals, medicine, or doctor visits. It's about watching someone you love change in ways you can't control. And that hits deeper than most people know. You want to help. You want to protect them. You want them to listen, to eat, to rest, to follow your advice. Because you care, because you love. But they resist. They forget. They fight back. And before you know it, your care turns into frustration. Your love becomes control. And your guilt, it grows. If you're here right now watching this, I want you to know something. You are not alone. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're simply facing a truth most people run from. That loving someone doesn't mean owning their choices. That caring doesn't always mean fixing. And that sometimes, the most powerful form of love is letting go of your need to control. That's where Stoicism comes in. No, Stoicism doesn't mean being cold or distant. It doesn't mean hiding your emotions or becoming a stone. Stoicism is about clarity, strength, acceptance. It's about drawing a line between what's yours and what isn't, between what you can carry and what you must release. In this video, we're going to walk together through the timeless wisdom of Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and the Stoics to uncover how you can love deeply, care powerfully, and stay grounded in the storm. We'll talk about the fine line between helping and controlling. We'll explore how to face decline without falling apart. And we'll discover how to show up fully, fiercely, and freely without losing your peace. So stay with me. You didn't come here by accident. You came because something in you is searching for meaning, for balance, for a way to love that doesn't burn you out. And I promise you, there's a way. There's a Stoic way. If this message resonates with you, if you believe this conversation matters, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community here on the Stoic Philosophy. You're not alone. You're just beginning a deeper chapter. Let's walk it together. Chapter 1. Stoic love is not ownership. Love is not possession. That's where most of us get it wrong. We think that because we love someone, we have a say in how they live, what they eat, how they act, what they believe. We think our care gives us control, but it doesn't. To the Stoics, love is not about shaping others. It's about showing up without trying to reshape the moment. Love is about presence, not power. You don't own your mother's decisions. You don't control your father's habits. You are here to love, not to direct. Epictetus said it best. Seek not to have things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do. This is not passive. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. You're not giving up. You're waking up to the reality that you are not the center of their story. But wait, what if they're making bad choices? What if your aging father refuses to take his medicine? What if your mother keeps wandering, forgetting where she is? What if your partner clings to old patterns that hurt them? You want to help. You need to help. But in the rush to fix, we forget to feel. We forget that care, when mixed with control, often becomes coercion. Let me ask you this. What does it feel like to be controlled? To have someone say, you should, you must, you need to. It doesn't feel like love, does it? It feels like pressure. It feels like judgment. And that's how our care can turn into a quiet kind of violence. Not from anger, but from fear. Fear of loss. Fear of helplessness. Fear of watching them fade away. But Stoicism offers another way. A braver way. A harder way. But a freer way. The Stoic chooses to care without clinging. To love without gripping. To give without expecting to be obeyed. That's radical. That's rare. But that's real love. Think about this. A tree does not force the river to slow down. It plants its roots. It bends with the current. It holds its ground. But it does not try to change the flow. Can you be that tree? Can you offer your love without demanding a return? Without demanding agreement? Without demanding control? Let's shift the question. Instead of asking, how do I make them change? Ask, how do I stay loving, even when they don't change? That's the Stoic's question. That's the caregiver's test. Stoic love is not cold. It's not distant. It's deeper than that. It says, I will show up fully. I will help honestly. I will speak the truth kindly. But I will not chain you to my expectations. Because once love becomes a chain, it's no longer love. It's fear in disguise. There's a quiet freedom in this. When you stop trying to control them, you start connecting with them, really seeing them as they are, not as you wish they were. And you start seeing yourself. All the ways you've been trying to earn love by fixing. All the ways you've tied your identity to being the good child, or the strong partner, or the perfect caregiver. Let that go. You are not here to be perfect. You're here to be present. This doesn't mean you stop speaking up. You still offer help. You still voice concerns. But you offer. You do not impose. Your tone softens. Your body relaxes. Your eyes say, I love you enough to let you be. And sometimes, that space is what opens the door for them to change. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, if someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. For I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. The harm is to persist in self-deception. You know what that means. Even the Emperor of Rome had to be open to letting go of his own pride. You can too. This is the paradox of Stoic care. When you stop trying to control others, you become more powerful in their life. Because now, your presence feels like safety, not pressure. So what can you do, starting today? Sit quietly with the person you care for, without correcting them. Watch your own need to be right, and breathe through it. Say to yourself, I love them, even if they never change. Journal about what is truly in your control, and what is not. Practice stepping back when your emotions flare, even just for a breath. Let me leave you with this. You are not weak because you feel deeply. You are not failing because you cannot change them. You are growing stronger because you're learning the hardest lesson of all, to love someone without trying to own them. Chapter 2. What you can and cannot control. This is the core of Stoicism. The line, the boundary, the single question that defines your freedom. Is this within my control or not? Seems simple, but living it, that's where the real practice begins. Let's break it down. You cannot control someone else's behavior. You cannot control aging. You cannot control illness. You cannot control time, memory, or the past. But you can control how you respond. You can control the stories you tell yourself. You can control the space you hold. You can control your energy, your presence, your breath. That's where power lives. Most suffering begins when we cross the line, when we try to control what is not ours, when we think, if I just say the right thing, they'll listen. If I do enough, they'll change. If I love hard enough, they won't decline. But that's not love. That's fear dressed as love. Epictetus gave us a clear map. He said, some things are up to us, and some things are not. Your opinions? Yours. Your actions? Yours. Your desires, your aversions, your reactions? Yours. But your mother's mood? Your father's choices? Your partner's habits? Not yours. So here's the challenge. When you feel overwhelmed, when the person you love is slipping away, take a breath and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is yes, act. If the answer is no, let go. Not out of apathy, but out of wisdom. Because you cannot carry what is not yours without breaking yourself. Think of yourself as a circle. Inside that circle, your thoughts, your choices, your breath, your values. Outside the circle, other people's emotions, other people's decisions, the weather, the news, the pace of aging, the results of your efforts, live inside your circle. That's your realm. That's your kingdom. That's where Stoic peace begins. But let's be honest. Letting go of control doesn't mean letting go of care. You're not stepping away. You're stepping back so you can show up better. Because when you release the need to fix, you create space to love. You soften. You breathe. You listen. And the person you're caring for, they feel that shift. They may not say it, but they feel it. Control feels like pressure. Clarity feels like peace. And peace is what we all want, especially in moments of struggle. This is where many caregivers burn out. They believe they are responsible for everything. For meals, for moods, for memories, for outcomes they never signed up for. But you are not responsible for everything. You are responsible for your presence in this moment. That's it. Not the past, not the future. Just this breath, this choice, this now. The Stoics were warriors of the mind. They trained every day to return to what is within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not just poetry. That's survival. Especially when life gets messy. Especially when emotions rise. Especially when the people you love are slipping through your hands. Here's a practice. Start each day by writing down 2 lists. On one side, what I can control. On the other, what I cannot control. Keep it simple. I can control how I speak today. I cannot control whether they take the pills. I can control how I breathe through frustration. I cannot control the progression of their illness. I can control showing up with love and calm. Do this daily. Watch what happens. You'll notice more space, more stillness, more strength. Not because the world changed, but because you did. And when you fail, because you will, come back gently. The Stoic path isn't about perfection. It's about return. You will get frustrated. You will snap. You will want to control again. That's okay. Notice it. Name it. And return. You are learning a rare art. The art of showing up fully, while holding nothing too tightly. The art of loving deeply, without owning the outcome. The art of trusting. That peace doesn't come from forcing the world to change, but from aligning yourself with what is. So remember this. Your power is not in changing them. Your power is in choosing how you show up, no matter what they do. And that is where your peace begins. Chapter 3. A personal story of Stoic care. Let me tell you a story. Not from the pages of a philosophy book. Not from ancient Greece. But from right here. Real life. One that shaped my understanding of what Stoic care truly means. My father was a strong man. The kind who never missed a day of work. The kind who fixed things with his hands and taught lessons without saying much. He didn't talk about emotions, but you felt his presence in the room. He loved quietly, and the way he poured your coffee, or made sure your tires were full. And then one day, everything started to change. It began with forgetfulness, keys misplaced, names missed. Then stories started repeating. The timeline of his mind slowly fractured. It wasn't long before the diagnosis came. Early onset dementia, a quiet thief, taking more each day. At first, I tried to fight it. I did everything I could. Scheduled new doctors, ordered supplements, built routines and reminders. I was determined to slow it down, maybe even stop it. But deep down, I was terrified, not of losing him, but of losing who he used to be. This is where Stoicism became more than words. It became breath. It became posture. It became silence in the storm. I remembered Epictetus. It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. I had judged his decline as a tragedy, but what if I could learn to see it as a transformation? The first real shift happened one afternoon. He didn't recognize me, not even a flicker of familiarity, and I felt something inside me snap. I stood there frozen, angry, hurt. I wanted to shout, to demand that he remember me, but I didn't. Instead, I sat down beside him, and I breathed. I remembered, this is not about me. This is about how I choose to love when I am not seen. That's Stoic love. Love without condition. Love without demand. I began to focus on what I could control. My tone, my patience, my presence. Each day, I practiced being with him, not with the memory of who he was, but with the reality of who he had become. And in that practice, something beautiful began to emerge. He would hum old songs, sometimes out of nowhere, and I would hum along. He would stare at the sky and smile, like he saw something I couldn't. And I started to see it too. Moments of peace in the chaos. There were no deep conversations anymore, but there was something deeper, presence, stillness, a kind of connection that didn't need words. There were also hard days. Days when he wandered, confused and angry. Days when I cried in my car before walking into the house. Days when I wanted to escape. But the Stoic path doesn't promise comfort. It promises clarity, and that clarity gave me the strength to stay. Here's what I learned. Caring for someone in decline is not about fixing them. It's about showing up, day after day, with love that asks for nothing in return. It's about doing the right thing, not because it feels good, but because it is good. It's about meeting the moment as it is, not as you wish it were. My father taught me Stoicism without ever studying it. He taught it in the way he faced pain without complaint, in the way he lived simply, in the way he softened as his memory faded, as if all that was left was soul. I didn't get to say goodbye in words he could understand, but I said it in presence, in sitting beside him when he no longer knew my name, in holding his hand and watching the wind move through the trees. That was enough. When he passed, I didn't feel regret. I felt gratitude, because I had learned to love him fully, not the version of him I had lost, but the one who remained until the very end. And that is the Stoic lesson. To love what is, not what was. To care without controlling. To be present, even when presence hurts. Maybe you are walking through something similar. A parent, a partner, a child, someone fading in ways you cannot stop. I see you, and I want to say, you are not weak for feeling pain. You are not stoic because you feel nothing. You are stoic because you feel deeply and still choose to love with clarity. This story isn't just mine. It belongs to every caregiver who wakes up and chooses love again. To every soul who releases the need to fix and simply chooses to be. That is Stoic care. That is strength without noise. That is love without control. Chapter 4. Daily Practices for Stoic Caregivers. You do not need to be a philosopher to live like one. Stoicism was never about theory. It was always about action. And for caregivers, especially those caring for aging parents, partners, or loved ones, Stoicism offers not abstract ideas, but practical daily tools to survive and thrive. Let's talk about some of those tools. Simple, quiet practices that keep your feet on the ground. When everything around you feels like it's falling apart, begin the day with a Stoic reflection. Before the world wakes you up with demands, take 5 quiet minutes. Ask yourself 3 questions. What is within my control today? What am I likely to face that will test my patience? How will I choose to respond? You don't need a fancy journal, a scrap of paper, the Notes app on your phone, or just your breath and your attention. This simple reflection creates an inner posture, one that prepares you, not for perfection, but for presence. Rehearse the difficult. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, imagining what might go wrong, but not to worry or dwell. To prepare. If your loved one lashes out, if they forget your name, if plans get canceled, you've already met the moment in your mind. Now you can meet it in peace. This is not pessimism. It's clarity. It gives you emotional armor without closing your heart. Detached from outcome, attached to effort. You cannot control whether your care slows their decline. You cannot control how they respond. But you can control how you show up. Did you speak with kindness? Did you stay calm when things got tense? Did you choose patience when frustration rose? Then you've succeeded. The Stoic caregiver is measured not by results, but by integrity. Take micropauses. In caregiving, burnout doesn't come from a single event. It comes from 1,000 small moments that pile up. So pause. When they sleep, breathe deeply for 60 seconds. When they repeat a question for the 5th time, close your eyes. Feel your feet on the ground. When you're alone in the hallway, whisper a word of encouragement to yourself. These moments are not escapes, they are recovery. They help you stay human in the middle of emotional labor. Reframe your role. You are not just a caregiver. You are a daily practitioner of virtue. Patience, compassion, fortitude, forgiveness. This is your dojo, your temple, the kitchen, the bedroom, the long car rides to appointments. All of it is the arena where your character is being carved. And every day you show up, you are winning the inner war. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics trained themselves to handle discomfort, sleeping without a blanket, fasting for a day, walking barefoot. For you, this might look like choosing to go without complaint. Even when things are unfair, it could be skipping that argument you know you'll win, or letting go of needing them to say thank you, or sitting with sadness instead of numbing it. These small acts of self-restraint build your spiritual muscle. End the day with self-review, not self-judgment. At night before sleep, ask yourself, where did I act with wisdom? Where did I fall short? What will I do better tomorrow? But be gentle. This is not about guilt. It's about growth. You are not failing. You are becoming. Make space for joy. This one is hard to talk about. Caregivers often feel guilty finding joy while someone they love is suffering. But joy is not a betrayal. It is a necessity. Watch a comedy. Listen to a song that moves you. Go for a walk under the trees. If your cup is empty, you cannot pour into theirs. Joy is your fuel. Let it be part of your practice. Create a mantra. In the middle of chaos, a single sentence can anchor you. I am here and I am enough. This moment is hard, but I am not alone. What matters is how I respond. Repeat it. Whisper it. Write it down. Post it where you'll see it. The Stoics had theirs, so should you. Ask for help and accept it. Stoicism is not about isolation. It is about strength rooted in humility. You are not weak for needing support. Whether it's a friend, a sibling, or a therapist, lean in. Even Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, surrounded himself with wise mentors and advisors. Why should you walk alone? Let go with grace. At some point, you may feel like you're losing them, slowly or suddenly, and that will hurt. But your love is not wasted. Your care is not invisible. Every act, every effort, every tired night, it matters. The Stoic caregiver does not cling. They hold with open hands, and when the time comes, they release with dignity. You are already practicing Stoicism. Every time you choose patience over reaction, every time you show up, even when exhausted, every time you respond with love, not control, you are walking the path. You are becoming the philosophy, and the world is quietly better because of you. Chapter 5, Final Message. Love that frees, not binds. Love is not possession. It is presence. We often grow up believing that love means holding on tightly, that if we care, we must control, that if we love, we must fix, that if we let go, we fail. But Stoicism teaches us something radically different. It teaches us that the truest form of love is the one that lets others be. It is love without a leash, without force, without fear. To love someone deeply is to set them free within your heart, not to push them away, not to stop caring, but to give them the dignity of their own journey, whether that journey is one of aging, of illness, or of simply being who they are. The aging parent who no longer remembers, the partner who now depends on your strength, the friend who struggles in silence. Your love matters, but your grip does not. Letting go is not giving up. Many caregivers wrestle with guilt when they step back, even just a little. They fear they're abandoning their duty. They fear they're loving less. But it is not so. Letting go means accepting the reality in front of you. It means choosing to be present, not powerful. It means you stop trying to make things perfect, and instead, you let them be real. Control suffocates. Presence breathes. When we try to control those we care for, even with good intentions, we can end up adding pressure where there should be peace. You want to make things easier for them, but sometimes what they need is space to feel, to grieve, to simply be. The Stoic way is not to remove their suffering, but to hold it with them without breaking, to walk beside them, not ahead of them, not dragging them forward. That is the deepest form of care. You cannot carry their pain, but you can witness it. And in that witnessing, something sacred happens. They feel seen. They feel heard. They feel loved. Not because you changed the outcome, but because you stayed without trying to own their story. That is Stoic love. Steady, still, strong. Freedom and love also means freeing yourself. Caregivers often lose their own identity in the role. You become the strong one, the helper, the only one who understands. But who are you beyond that? You are a soul who still deserves lightness, still deserves moments of laughter, of rest, of joy. Letting go of control is not just a gift to them, it is a gift to you. You reclaim space for your spirit to breathe. They may not say thank you. They may not recognize your effort. They may even resist your love. And still you love, but not in a way that drains you, not in a way that demands they change, not in a way that says, you must be who I need you to be. Instead, you say, I will love you where you are as you are, without asking you to carry the weight of my expectations. That is love that frees. The Stoics knew that everything changes. People age, memories fade, bodies fail, time moves on, and so they trained their hearts to stay soft, even in the face of loss. They practiced loving with detachment, not coldness, but clarity, because when we truly see that nothing is forever, we learn to love more fiercely, not less. Every moment you care is a quiet act of courage. Every dish you wash, every story you listen to again, every medication you organize, these are not small things. They are love, expressed through presence. And presence, when sustained through hardship, is the purest kind of devotion. You may feel invisible, but your care echoes in the unseen corners of their life. Love that frees is love that remains strong even when unreturned. You love not to get something back, not to be recognized, but because it is who you are. A Stoic caregiver does not withhold love when it is hard, but they also do not give beyond what their soul can sustain. They find the middle path, the steady rhythm where love flows, but does not flood. You are not alone. Others walk this path, quietly, gently, holding space for those who are changing, declining, or leaving. We see you, and more than that, we honor you, because you are the embodiment of what Stoicism really means. Not someone who is cold, but someone who chooses warmth without losing themselves, who stays steady without needing control, who offers love that uplifts, not imprisons. So breathe, let go, stay, not because you must, but because you choose to. And when the day ends, and no one claps for you, and no one notices what you carried today, know this: the soul you love may not see it all, but the universe does. And within you, a Stoic heart continues to rise, every day, with strength, with grace, with love that frees, not binds. Conclusion: a Stoic heart in the caregiver's journey. There is no applause in caregiving, no spotlight, no trophy. It is not glamorous, it is not loud, and often it is not even seen, but it is sacred. To care for someone, truly care, is to carry both their suffering and your own. It is to watch them change, fade, hurt, or forget, and still choose to stay. And that choice, that daily choice to love without control, to show up without needing recognition, to serve without losing yourself, that is the Stoic way. The Stoic heart is not a hardened one. It is not cold. It is not detached to avoid pain. It detaches in order to love more freely, more gently, more wisely. Because when you stop trying to control the outcome, you can finally be present in the moment. And when you stop resisting the pain, you begin to understand that love is not about saving someone. It's about walking beside them as they go through what cannot be saved. So if you are a caregiver, if you are tending to an aging parent, a sick partner, a fragile soul, if you are pouring out love and patience, and no one seems to notice, we see you. You are not invisible. Your strength may be quiet, but it is not small. You are living Stoicism at its highest level, and you are not alone. Here, on this channel, the Stoic Philosophy, we honor the real strength, the calm in the chaos, the clarity in confusion, the love that frees, not binds. We share these stories, ideas, and truths not just to inspire, but to remind you that you matter. Your path matters, and your quiet commitment to care is a philosophy in motion. If this video spoke to you, stay with us. We have more to share about how to live wisely, love bravely, and remain calm in a world that often forgets what truly matters. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy. And if you know someone walking a similar path, share this video with them. Let them know they are seen, they are strong, they are stoic. Thank you for being here. Until next time, stay steady, stay free, and stay true to the heart that cares without needing to control.